Good. I have to tell you, I'm very excited today. I'm going to tell you why. Just give it a second, wait till everyone hops on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let me make sure I have the right twinkle music on. Dominic's here, so I can start now. So, I had a life before Call to Calm. There was a panache Desai before all of this happened. I spent many a night by myself in a hotel room that I paid for, that I paid for an airline ticket to go to, that I carried all of my equipment to, everything by myself for 3 years. And sometimes somebody would come, sometimes nobody would come. Sometimes people would come just to argue with me. Sometimes people would come just because they're curious. Sometimes people would come because they felt some resonance to what was being shared. But in the beginning, I was just sharing for the sake of sharing, because it was mine to share. It's mine to share. When I first did sessions came into being because people wouldn't leave me alone. Honestly, even to this day, like if I could just lay down and just close my eyes or stare out of my window, I would be perfectly happy. But sessions came into being because people would ask me questions. They wouldn't leave me alone. And so I decided that all this human interaction was entirely inconvenient, and that I needed to structure it in a way where I could still enjoy staring at my ceiling fan and out at nature and be useful in whatever way being useful translated. But I have to tell you that the greatest thing that's made a difference in my life is not giving up. It's just consistently being out there, consistently sharing the message, consistently being available for people, irrespective of whether they got it, didn't get it, appreciated it, wanted to hug me, wanted to argue with me, wanted to run away from me. Because I realized that at first, everything that was flowing through me was for me. And I knew I was onto something when I started listening to myself, and it worked. That's when I knew I was onto something. Like, wow, this is actually quite profound. These words, this vibration, this energy, this message, whatever this is, this inspiration that's moving through me, when I pay attention to it, my life takes off. I know. Shocking, but true. And so for me, it was always the consistency in the midst of these huge gurus and teachers who took offense at the fact that I was telling people that nobody needed to be enlightened because it was messing with their business model. These huge seminar leaders that took offense to the fact that I was sharing what I was sharing. Healers, high vibrational beings who were upset at the fact that I was leveling the playing field and democratizing enlightenment, vibration, and access. And I have to tell you that had I actually paid attention to the feedback that I was receiving from outside of me, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be here. The blessing is I did not pay attention. because I realized it wasn't about the feedback that I was receiving from outside of me. It was about the fact that I had something to say, something to share. And it wasn't even the fact that I was saying it, that it was happening through me. And so there's an amazing power in recognizing that you're going to fall over, you're going to scrape your knees, you're going to want to give up. But if you're consistent with yourself, you're consistent in your way of being, and you just do it, regardless of the praise or the blame, regardless of how it's received, if you just share, eventually you'll end up where you're supposed to be. Something will line up, something will happen to where things will line up. And I promise you, I literally would go out of pocket for 3 years. I would leave on a Tuesday, not on a Tuesday, I would leave on a Thursday, come home on a Tuesday, do my laundry on a Wednesday, home for 1 night, 2 nights, and then I would leave again for 3 years. For 3 years. And I would literally go to wherever I was invited. Sometimes it was a church basement, sometimes it was a living room, sometimes nobody came, But I just did it anyway. And I did it anyway because at first I realized that what was flowing through me was for me. That I had to develop my trust in what was flowing through me. And that developing my trust in what's flowing through me to where now I can show up here, no teleprompter, no cue cards, no clue what I'm going to talk about. But I know that God's got me. The words will come, the energy will come. Whatever needs to be expressed will be expressed because I am unshakable in my trust. But I'm unshakable in my trust because of the fact that I have done it over and over again and I have not paid attention to the feedback, the praise, the blame, the whatever. And I'm not going to lie, there were moments where I'm like, I don't know. I don't think the world's ready for me. Why is everybody attacking me? Why do people who are allegedly enlightened have a hard time with me? This is the truth. Everybody's God. I don't understand. And there were points where it was hard for me because people who are allegedly high vibrational, who were supposed to be some of the most profound beings on the earth, somehow had an issue with the 24-year-old, 25-year-old, 26-year-old, 27-year-old, 28-year-old who had a direct experience of something that you can't unexperience. I've been through every permutation of this expression that you can imagine. Even to this day, some of you show up here, you receive what I'm saying. Others of you show up here, you're just upset at the fact that I'm saying what I'm saying. Others of you show up here, you're having your own distorted relationship with what I'm saying, and you have been for years. And I'm going to tell you something. Having a calling isn't glamorous. It's not going to be appreciated. It's not going to be recognized. It's not going to be received. It's going to have the impact that it's supposed to have. And you have to get to a place, and I mean this for all of you. If you're a life coach, coach yourself every day. If you're a healer, heal yourself every day. Whatever it is that's flowing through you, that's for you, beloved. Share it with yourself. Literally, I had the ballroom anyway. Because you can't rent a ballroom for 2 hours. You have to rent a ballroom for half a day. And I flew there. So at that point, I just did the talk anyway. And then when my daughters were born in 2012, then, by the grace of God, technology had evolved and we moved everything online. And then I did everything online. Every week there was a new series, a new focus, a new subject, a new something every single week. It's been prolific. I don't know anyone else that's delivered as much content or as much value in the course of their young life in this genre. Some of you have been here for 1,158 days. Beloved, ever since I was 24 years old, 23 years old, all of this has been happening. Before there was Zoom, before it was recorded, before Oprah, before telesummits, before webinars, before any of you ever knew I existed, God knew I existed. Before any of you knew I existed, God knew I existed. Because all of this was happening through me. And so, some of you have to get why I show up here every day. Because I know what it takes. I know what it takes, and what it takes is consistency. You can't have an ego. You can't have an attachment to being liked. You can't have an attachment to any outcome. I'll share some examples with you. When I first started doing sessions, I kid you not, first session, God's very funny. Everybody laid there, had profound experiences. It was wonderful. Nobody moved. Everyone was in oneness. It was great. Next session, everyone farted their way through the whole session. Next session, everybody burped their way through the whole session. Next session, it was like a zoo. Every kind of animal, people hissing and like rolling around on the floor. I'm like, what kind of gift is this? Like, what is this? This is crazy. And then they'd still be going through it when it came time for Q&A and sharing. So that you have to put my foot on the snake person and just keep talking like nothing was happening. I was like, are they okay? I'm like, yeah, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. And then my mum would hand feed them a piece of chocolate or some banana and they'd be just fine. I think people, for the most part, would just go full animal like Kriya just to have my mum feed them chocolate and a banana. I would. So all of this stuff was going on. All these manifestations of energy were happening through me. And at the same time, the message never changed. The consistency never changed. Showing up every day didn't stop happening. Even when Celeste was in the hospital, I still traveled. I still did events. I still did talks. Still did programs. I have transcended everything because of the consistency. I can be here. I can be in intense pain. I can be sick. My whole life can be burning down around me and you would never know it because I have transcended the whole thing. My mind, my body, my emotions, my identity. There is nothing that can stop me from saying what I've come here to say and from doing what I've come here to do. It's all being done through me. Not a single thing. That's the degree to which I trust. And that trust is the antithesis of ego. Ego is insecurity. Some of you put yourself out there, and the world has some kind of an issue with you, some kind of reaction to you, some kind of something, and then you begin to question the validity of what you're sharing. Beloved, what you're sharing is for you. Then it's for the world. The first person that needs to receive what's coming out of your mouth is you. The first person that you have to prioritize in your expression is you. And so it just so happened that my personal experience of the divine all of a sudden made a lot of enlightened people feel very insecure because they were no longer special. Because if everyone's God, and everyone's the guru, and everyone's the healer, and everyone's the teacher, and everyone has this innate spiritual potential and capacity, then why do we need them anymore? Well, the truth is we don't. There will never be an intermediary between you and the higher power of your heart, the beloved of your understanding, ever again. We're putting an end to all of it. You now know that you're eternal, infinite, immortal. You now know that you're beyond these emotions, feelings, thoughts, beliefs, ideologies, your physical condition. You're beyond your ego. You're beyond everything that's happening in your life. You know it. You can't unknow it, just like I can't unknow it. You've experienced it. It's already too late for you. It's already too late for you. You know that when the body ends, you don't end. You know who you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me. But at some point now, you have to stop caring about the feedback and how it's received and how people are perceiving you. You have to go beyond public perception. You do. And I kid you not, like, for every one person that shows up here, somebody will hear me and they'll be like, wow, thank you. Some of you right now are filtering this through your own past, through your own relationship with the truth, through your own whatever you're going through. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's an amazing freedom that we begin to uncover, a powerful truth that we begin to uncover when we actually step into the totality of all that we are. And just for the record, you're consistently who you are. I can't change who I am. It's impossible. Look at me. I'm doomed. I can't water it down. I can't, put the genie back in the bottle. But this is why one of the pillars of this community is consistency. One of the pillars of this community is consistency. Why? Because consistency is the antidote to insecurity. You don't trust yourself because you're not consistent with yourself. You're not consistent with yourself. You're not consistent with yourself in how you talk about yourself. You're not consistent with yourself in how you think about yourself. You're not consistent with yourself in how you feel about yourself. You're not consistent with yourself in how you live. You're not consistent with yourself. And for that reason, then you don't trust yourself. And then there's insecurity. And then you have to pander to other people's points of view. Other people's opinions. And is it going to be easy? No, there are nights where I've literally cried myself to sleep. It's not going to be easy. Because there's a part of you that wants the acceptance, that wants to be understood, that wants to be received. You won't be. And in the moment I gave up wanting to be, here we are. Here we are. I'm still talking to myself. I'm having a full-blown conversation with myself every day. I'm literally in a room by myself on Zoom talking to myself. Nothing's changed. It just so happens that all of you are here. Which is crazy to me. The same message that people couldn't receive, that they rejected, that they had to reject, because it wasn't convenient for them that everybody was enlightened. It wasn't convenient for them that nobody needed to be healed. It wasn't convenient for them that there's no such thing as high vibration and low vibration. It wasn't convenient for them that somebody was telling the truth. It wasn't convenient for them. Even on Oprah. No book. You're just an old friend who's here to remind people that God loves them. Yep. Even on the biggest platform that I had, the same message. First time in the history of that show that somebody went on that show without an agenda. The book came afterwards. So do you understand what I'm saying to you? What's flowing through you is for you. You just have to be consistent with yourself. You have to be consistent in how you show up. You have to be consistent with yourself. Then you can trust yourself. And then somehow, magically, eventually, one day, the whole world agrees with you. And at first it's weird. At first it's weird. You know, it's like, wait a minute. People are actually hearing me. Not only are they hearing me, but their lives are shifting. Because they're getting the depth of who they are. They're getting the totality of who they are. That's what happens here every day. This is not about me, this is about all of you. It's about the complete and total empowerment of you. My job is to prepare you for life without me. Not that I'm going anywhere, but that's what empowerment is. Empowerment is to make yourself redundant. So you're not here for the approval of others. You're not here for the acceptance of others. You're also not here for the rejection or the criticism of others. Let people live in whatever version of being human they want to live in. You stay true to you, and you keep showing up and being yourself every day, and eventually it's going to fall into place. Eventually it will. Promise you that. Maybe one day the whole world will stop and listen. Because you didn't stop. Maybe one day the whole world will stop and listen because you didn't stop. Sometimes it just takes a minute for your reality to catch up. I remember I was literally on teleseminars about healing, telling people that they didn't need to be healed. Because I could see that it wasn't working for people. I actually suggested on one of these teleseminars that we should turn it into a cooking show. Because I'm actually far more interested to find out what some of these channeled beings eat than I am in what they have to say. I wonder if they eat nachos. Couldn't care less about what they have to say. But I wonder if they eat nachos. So consistency is the end of ego. Consistency is the end of ego. Consistency is the end of insecurity, because you're just doing it anyway. You're just doing it anyway. You're just doing it anyway. Even if it's inconvenient, even if it's not received, even if it's rejected, but someone's happy about it, somebody's not happy about it, it doesn't matter. You're just consistent. And being consistent, you trust yourself. And in trusting yourself, then you can dunk on people like Michael Jordan every day with your eyes closed, with your hands tied behind you, with one leg tied behind you. You can still dunk on people every day, because it's not you that's dunking on everybody. It's God showing everybody what's possible when you finally trust in God. So the only antidote to insecurity is consistency. And this is why consistency is one of the main pillars. It's why I show up here every day. Not a 7-day meditation challenge, not meditate your way out of a pandemic, not meditate your way out of a plastic bag, not meditate your way out of a brown paper bag, not 7 days to get out of a brown paper bag while you're in a plastic bag holding a bag of nachos. No. Every day. Why? Because you deserve it. Because you deserve somebody showing up every day and empowering you in you, because you deserve it. That's why. You deserve it. We deserve it. The world deserves it. Because after a while you realize that at first what was flowing through you was for you, but after a while it's for you in the broader universal sense. It belongs to everybody. But it only belongs to everybody when you trust it. And it belongs to everybody when you trust yourself, and it belongs to everybody when you trust God. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We're all the same. The same light is in all of us. Always has been, always will be. The same potential is in all of us. The same power is in all of us. Just be consistent. Show up every day. Be you every day. In face of no matter what happens, be you every day. Because all you're doing is deepening your trust in yourself, and you're deepening your trust in God. And that's how I can show up here every day and say, hey, all of these things, fixing, healing, changing, improving, high vibration, low vibration, these are all distortions. For somebody who's experienced the truth, everyone's the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. Don't give up on you. Don't give up and don't stop, no matter what. I didn't. I have done programs in excruciating pain, being sick beyond belief, my daughter dying in the hospital. I've done programs. My mum's going through stuff, Jan's going through stuff, my dad just went through stuff. It doesn't matter. You will become transcendent. The more you trust God, and the more you remember why you're here, you will become transcendent. People won't get it. They won't get it. And it will be lost on them. It'll be lost on them. Because they just can't comprehend what's happening in front of them. And it's okay. You're not doing it for them to comprehend what's happening in front of them. You're doing it because it's what God made you to do. Consistency. Showing up here every day is consistency. It's consistency. It's trusting yourself. And in trusting yourself then, connection becomes effortless. Oneness becomes effortless. The love, light and presence that you are becomes effortless. And after a while, you'll become transcendent. It won't matter what's happening in your life, because you'll realize that you were never doing any of it anyway. It was all happening through you, and that will be the best day of your life, because then you'll get the whole thing. Then you'll get the whole thing. The whole thing. Hey, thanks for listening today. Laurel. Stop typing Om Shanti. Good morning, sweet friends, and welcome to another Call to Calm meditation. The best day of your life is the day that you realize that you didn't come here for human beings, you came here for God because you had an agreement. And your agreement was to be yourself and to allow whatever needed to flow through you every day, regardless of how it was perceived or received by others. Once you get that even though people don't get you, God gets you, that before anyone ever knows you, God knows you, and you consistently show up, even when nobody's showing up, even when people are showing up just to argue with you, even when people are showing up for whatever reason, you've got to get to a place where you recognize that it's the consistency that helps you trust yourself. And the more that you're consistent, the more you trust yourself, the more you become transcendent. Because after a while, it doesn't matter what you're going through personally, emotionally, mentally, physically, at the level of your self-image. Even if everything in your life evaporates overnight, it doesn't matter. Because you trust yourself, because you've been consistent with yourself. When I first started, we didn't have 2,000 to 3,000 people here every morning. We had 5, maybe 2. There were evenings when nobody would come. I would pack my bag, my little gold donation box with the slit in it, I still have it, the first generation iPod. I'd say bye to Jan, I'd head out the door, head to the airport, and I'd end up in some city in the middle of nowhere, a hotel room that I'd rented, and nobody would come. And I would just do the program anyway. I would just be myself anyway. Because I realized that what was flowing through me was for me. That the more I listened to what was coming out of my mouth, the more my life, the more the quality of my life, the more the circumstances of my life began to shift. And it wasn't that I was fixing, healing, changing, or improving. It was that I was finally allowing myself to be who I'd been created to be. And the more I was consistent with that, the more that trust became so solid and unshakable, the less it mattered. No people, one person, 4,000 people, somebody gets it, doesn't get it. Somebody interprets it through their distortion, through their wounding. It just doesn't matter. My role is to love you. Because I love myself. What you do with that is none of my business. What you do with that is none of my business. Close your eyes, open your palms, and take some long, deep cleansing breaths. Step away from your keyboards and become aware of your breathing. Resting in the awareness of your breath transforms your life into a living meditation. This morning, I'd like you to place your hands over your heart. And the feeling that I would love for you to express with yourself consistently is the feeling of love for yourself, within your own heart. And as you breathe in and out, every breath is a consistent, reliable expression of love from you, for you, to you. Historically, you have not trusted love because you haven't been consistent with it. That's all about to change. Becoming aware of the warmth, the electricity, the energy, the pulsation in your heart. How good it feels. Well, they say it takes 21 days to have this become a new pattern, a new habit. So if you don't mind, we're just going to fast forward you 333 days into the future. Just seeing yourself every day for 333 days with your hands on your heart, consistently offering yourself warmth, love, connectivity. And noticing that with every day that goes by, you trust it a little bit more. Consistent. Consistency builds trust, and being consistent with yourself, and loving yourself and feeling the energy of love from you, to you, for you, allows you to trust in the love that you are. Consistently loving. Consistently experiencing. Whether anyone else gets it or not doesn't matter anymore. Whether they can receive it or not is of no consequence. You are consistently loving you every day. And just fast forwarding this through time, 333 days of consistently feeling the warmth, the electricity, the pulsation, the presence of love within your heart. Until you trust it. In the moment you trust it, you never leave it ever again. Because it's yours, beloved. Always was your love. Your light, your love, your presence. You were just projecting it onto other people. It was always you. It was always your heart. It's always your energy. It was always you. Seeing God standing in front of you. The God of your understanding, the beloved, whatever form it takes for you, it doesn't matter, it's infinite. And just acknowledging that you trust this presence. I trust you. And in that same way, expanding out that feeling of trusting God for 333 days too. Every day that trust deepening. I trust you, God. I trust you. Higher power, infinite, all there is. That's equally present in all people. I trust you. And after a while, just giving God a hug and just saying thank you. Because the day you realize you came here for God, you didn't come here for the acceptance or approval of your fellow human beings. It's the day you're free. It's the day you're free. I trust you. Just receiving that embrace. I trust the grace, the guidance, the miraculous power that's at work in my life. I trust it. It's why I came here. Noticing that all of a sudden, where there was once insecurity, and you were needy and projecting onto others or grasping outside of you for the truth, now you've become the infinite well of truth. Because now you are consistently that for you. Just like being here every morning and consistently being peaceful and knowing that you can come back to peace has allowed you in an instant, in the midst of whatever you're going through, to return to peace. In that same way, now you trust love and God. Consistency. Just take some breaths and just notice how you feel. Consistency allows you to trust yourself. And in trusting yourself, you're no longer influenced by what's happening outside of you. You are consistently present to the truth that dwells within you. Just repeat after me. I didn't come here for you, I came here for God. I didn't come here for your acceptance. I didn't come here for your approval. I didn't come here for the praise. I didn't come here for the blame. I came here for God. I came here to be who God made me to be. And I trust in that. Before anyone knows who you are, God knew you. Before anyone wanted to hear you, God heard you. Before anyone publicly acknowledged their love for you or acceptance of you, God accepted you and God loved you. Never forget that. You have a big fan. The only fan you ever need. The divine, infinite source of all. Don't give up. You're only one breath away. One moment away. Don't give up. I'd like to thank everybody in Impact for the breakthroughs, for the insights, for the community, for the space that we have there, because it allows me to come here and share. Everything that happens here allows me to come here and share every morning. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for that gift. And thank you for your consistency, everybody. Thank you for your consistency. So, there's a group alignment session today. Group alignment sessions are like virtual sessions that I used to do back in the day. And sometimes somebody would come, sometimes nobody would come, but I would offer them anyway. Group alignment sessions are your opportunity to be empowered in you. To be consistent in your ability to embody the totality of all that you are, so that you too can become transcendent. We're going to be together in person. I've rented a ballroom. Like the old days. Because I like being with people in person. And I rent a ballroom knowing that maybe nobody will come. And that's okay. In the event that nobody comes, I'll be sitting there on the stage talking to myself. If you actually are coming, then I'll be talking to you, which also happens to be an extension of myself. Surprise! Yay. So in the event that that resonates with you, I can't wait to be with you. Come to what you can come to. Be where you can be. Trust yourself and trust the perfect unfolding of your life. Alright, beautiful beings. I think there's an Impact semi-private today. Better pack your adult diapers. I have a feeling it's going to be a biggie. And for everyone who was in Impact in the mastermind with me yesterday, carry on with that gangster raccoon energy. be that gangster raccoon today who is just consistently raccooning, just doesn't care. Own the path, own the road, own the tree, and just be there. All right, I love you all. Have a great day.